Hi, welcome to Sunday Stretch and Flow. So we'll need blocks, a towel or blanket, and strap today. So we're going to start in a seated position. You could start laying down if you prefer, totally up to you. If you would like to start seated, you can have a towel or blanket kind of folded up, bringing the bottom edge sitting on top, just giving your hip flexors a little bit more space if that feels good to you. You can also bring some blocks, placing it underneath your thighs. Just wherever you're at, start to feel your body soften to the mat, maybe even rocking a little side to side, feeling your sits bones kind of connected to the earth. Let your torso get a little bit taller, also a little wavier. So maybe you'll notice some rounding when you first want to sit, sinking into earth. Let it get tall and a little loose. Let your shoulder blades soften, the tops of your shoulders soften. Hands can be on top of your knees or the floor in your lap, whatever feels nice to you. And soften your gaze or close your eyes, whatever's most comfortable. And as you begin to start to become aware of breath, start to notice your inhales and exhales. Slowly begin to expand both of those. So on the inhale, think of expanding the space between your hip points. So your low belly gets nice and puffy, your back body gets big and spacious. Side waist up into your ribs, diaphragm. Let that breath travel up. As you exhale, keep all of that length, but soften the belly, the ribs. Slowly release that exhale. As you fill up, maybe try to imagine as if there weren't a container for breath within the body, as if you could breathe into all parts of your body, moving your breath beyond the borders of lungs, moving the breath all the way to the crown of the head, to the tips of your fingers, to your toes. And as you exhale, it's washing from the spaces and releasing back out. Imagine this breath expanding your cells, expanding yourself, even if it could go beyond body. As you inhale, think of limitations being erased. And today, we're kind of drawing on the word enough. So I heard it a lot this week. And enough is as much or as many as required. But I think often we will question if we're enough. In numerous aspects of our lives, we go around measuring our enoughness against some arbitrary standard that maybe we've created, maybe culture has created. And then it makes us feel smaller or lacking or stuck. Today, if you haven't already brought an intention, brought a mantra, maybe it is I am enough. I am complete and whole. Whatever that is that you brought with you, or that enoughness, breathe into it. Let it get really big. Expand expand it in all directions, expand self in all directions, and then exhale, let there be a clearing and a letting go. Couple more big, deep inhales. As you exhale, maybe consider releasing your jaw, sighing it out. Then as you're ready, maybe slowly starting to open your eyes if they were closed. Wherever your hands are, if they can come back maybe to your knees, to the top of your thighs. And then we're just going to start to let the torso circle. So keep the big, deep inhales. Maybe as you circle forward, let that breath expand into low belly. Travel up your entire torso. And just slowly start to make those circles a little bit bigger, but allow sits bones to stay rooted down to the earth. Starting to feel into the low back, maybe massage a little in the low back. And then we'll start to reverse that circle in the other direction. And maybe even starting to get towards the back wall a little bit bigger to use hands on top of the knees as kind of a lever, allowing shoulder blades to separate. And then we'll slowly come back towards center. And then keeping sits bones down on the ground, just start to gently walk the hands a little bit more forward. So keep all that length, draw up from the pelvic floor, keeping that length in the spine, and just walk down to wherever it feels nice to you. You feel that stretch, and then maybe allow breath to expand into the space that you feel the stretch, and then continue walking. Fingertips just moving really slow, starting to warm up the back, starting to warm up hips. Slowly walk the torso back. And then bringing the hands, so we'll take right hand using the index finger and thumb on top of your collarbone. And then placing the left hand just gently on top of that, making sure sits bones are rooted down, crown of the head is reaching up. And as you exhale, let that ear just gently drift down to the left, maybe allowing the back of the head to slide slightly back. So as if you were in your car, maybe putting the back of your head on your headrest. And if it feels good to you, you can also open your jaw. You might kind of become aware of the different areas of your neck and maybe even feeling it front of the throat as you open your jaw. And then slowly coming back up towards center, taking some nice shoulder rolls. Oh, I think it's my plant a little too much. And then we'll switch out, bringing the opposite foot, whichever foot you had in front. Go ahead and switch those out. Once again, take a little side to side, feel the sits bones rooted down to the ground. Inhale, drawing up from the pelvic floor. Then let those hands just walk gently forward, kind of attempting to maintain. It's okay if your sits bones reach up a little bit, but making sure you're not leaning too far forward, so that way you can feel that stretch starting to get into the hips. Elongate the spine. Oftentimes we start to look at our efforts, our achievements, even our lessons and trials, and think that they're not enough. That our work that we put in for this minute, this day, this year wasn't enough. And as you're ready, slowly walk that torso back up. And then moving back into the neck, so using the other hand, so left hand, index finger, thumb right on top of the collarbone, right hand comes on top, just to act as a gentle pressure. So it's just the weight of the hand, you're not pressing into the collarbone. Inhale to elongate through the spine. As you exhale, gently let right ear drift down towards the right shoulder. And again, as if you could kind of gently draw the back of the head as if there were a wall behind you. Let your shoulder blades release. And again, if it feels okay, if it feels good to you, you can open your jaw. Breathing in, so big, deep inhale, expand the waist, the low belly. The exhales, long and slow. And then bringing that torso back up to center, the head back up to center. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, let the left hand drift down, right hand reach over. Sits bones sitting down towards the mat. Inhale it back up through center. Exhale, right hand comes down, left reaches. And coming back up to center. Reach those arms up as you exhale, cactus, the elbows drawing back, shoulder blades drawing back, heart lifts. So if it feels good, and tilt the chin upwards. Exhale, coming back down, and then we'll come into table. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, we're not done yet. Just kidding. Not table. While we're seated, let's start to get into some hamstrings. So bringing left leg out, right sole of the foot to the top inner thigh. If your hamstring is feeling really tight, feel free to place a block or a towel underneath your hamstring. And you can go ahead and, if you'd like, get that strap. So with that, left leg extended, and making sure the left foot is flexed. Sit upright, feel sits bones rooted into the ground. As you exhale, just gently allow just the torso to twist over to the direction of that left leg. Take a nice deep inhale to lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, let that heart begin to melt forward. Any amount. Big, deep inhale. Feel that exhale release. Feel the shoulder blades soften down your spine. Tops of your shoulders are going to soften down as well. Keep flexing into that left foot so that leg is still nice and strong. Feeling that stretch maybe in the back of the leg, maybe even a little on the inner thigh. Big, deep inhale. Let that exhale go. And as you're ready, gently bringing that torso up, you can release the strap. And then if your leg isn't already bent, go ahead and bend into that knee, bringing the left arm towards the inside. So that left elbow is kind of a little bit more towards the inside of that left knee. Taking a nice inhale to gather up some length here through the spine. As you exhale, start to twist, so let that right shoulder twist towards the back. And then keep that gaze going. Just taking a moment here to inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist maybe a little bit deeper. Keeping all of that length. And then staying in this twist, begin to take that right arm, reaching it as if you were maybe going to touch your toes. If it feels good, you can begin to slide that leg straight-ish. You can stay bent if that feels better. So the shoulder blades shoulders are open, and that reach, little compression in the side body. Keeping both sits bones down towards the ground, shoulder blades softening down your back. As you exhale, coming back, walking that torso up, nice and slow. Then we'll extend right leg, bring left leg in so that left sole of the foot is towards that right inner thigh. Bring the strap if you'd like. The ball of that right foot. Again, keeping that right leg nice and strong. So flexing into the foot, maybe even notice a little flex into the leg. Torso gently turns. Take a nice inhale to lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, gently let that heart melt towards the leg. Shoulder blades glide down the back. So a lot of times when we hear that not enoughness, not everybody, but it might be that voice of that inner critic. So that inner critic that tells you you're not qualified. That inner critic that tells us that something is too hard, it's beyond us, it's not enough. Let your shoulder blades glide down your back. Let your face soften. Take another deep inhale. As you exhale, bring that torso back up. You can release the strap. And if your knee wasn't already bent, go ahead and bend it rather deeply so the heel is on the floor. Bring that right elbow towards the inside. Feel sits bones root down. Take a nice inhale to lengthen through the spine. As you exhale for that left shoulder twist. So using core twist, reach that left arm back. Maybe gaze goes over the left fingertips. Just taking a moment in this twist. Big, deep inhale. On your next exhale, feel free to bring that left hand, starting to reach it over as if it could almost touch those toes. Then maybe your most leg just kind of likes to slide out. Keep the shoulders opening. Feel that stretch along the side body, maybe even low back. Maintain your breath, shoulder blades sliding down your spine. Sometimes our inner critic likes to bring up past failures, almost to prove why we don't belong, why we aren't enough. Big deep inhale. This time as you exhale, slowly bring that torso back up. Now we're going to make it into table. So bringing knees directly underneath hips. Bring a towel under the knees if you'd like, fanning out the fingertips. Wrists can be slightly forward from shoulders if that feels better to you. And some cat-cow softening into the back body now. So as you inhale, hips lift, low belly softens, heart shines through, chin comes up last. As you exhale, tuck the hips under, draw the navel to spine, press the mat away, chin tucks. And just allow yourself to go back and forth. Following your breath, really exhale, press all of the air out. Open up the space between the shoulder blades. Let your spine start to feel a little softer. And oftentimes, I think what we don't think about is, in a way, that inner critic can be good. In yoga, they call it the rajas. So that's what propels us forward. That's what keeps us desiring and wanting and improving. Then come back to a neutral position. So bringing the low belly. So as if you could bring your belly button towards your mid-back, just nice and gently, elongating through your crown of the head. On your next inhale, we're going to lift up that left leg, extend it. If you feel like it, you can reach the right arm forward as well. As you exhale, think of pressing the mat away, draw knee in, elbow in, so they touch. Create a little bit of tension there as they touch. And if you're just doing the knee, just draw it in as close to your nose. Extend on the inhale, reaching out, growing big and long. As you exhale, curl into a little ball. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. One more. Get as long as you possibly can. Reach fingers and toes opposite directions. And then squeeze. Press the elbow into the knee or just really draw the knee in. And then bring both the knee and the hand down. Bring those knees together. Start to make some big circles with the hips drift to the left, then around to the back. And then there's the tamas. So these are what they consider like the energies of the mind. And the tamas is what kind of causes the freeze or the kind of lack of movement where it resists change. And the philosophy is that there's actually a balance of both. There's a harmony between that continuous drive and that feeling as if everything is just enough as it is. Come back towards center. Bringing those knees back so they're underneath hips. We're going to go to the other side. So find that neutral spine first. So you're engaging low belly, lengthening through the crown of the head. As you inhale, extend the right leg down the length of the mat. Left leg, left arm reaches if you, or you can just use your knee. On your exhale, press the mat away, curl in, create a little resistance, elbow to knee to elbow if you're using both, or just draw that knee as tight as you can in the chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale, open it up. Exhale. One more. Get as long as you can, as if you could get taller and longer, get bigger. And soften down. Bring that knee down. Bring the knees a little bit closer towards each other, and then with the hips drift to the right this time, swinging around to the back. So I had an instructor once that said the inner critic is actually like your best friend with the worst communication skills. So it's always the best friend that can root you in your reality, but it's almost like they do it in a manner that's just terrible. And not all of us have this inner critic telling us these things. Maybe it's external. Come back towards center. Bringing the knees just slightly apart, tucking the toes, and then we're going to sit back onto the heels. If this is a lot on your feet, you can feel free to untuck them or even bring a block, placing it between your feet and then sitting on top of the block. If you want to bring your strap, so placing the strap, we're going to start to work into some shoulder mobility. I'm going to move so I don't get my aloe. So again, if this ever becomes too much on your feet, it's a nice thing to stretch into the bottom of our feet. But if it becomes uncomfortable on the toes of your feet, untuck and sit on top of your feet or on top of a block. Bringing the strap in front of you, maybe a little wider than shoulder width. So holding the strap a little bit wider than shoulder width. And you might have to extend it out, but just going here at first. Take an inhale, draw up from the pelvic floor. Let that breath move through to the crown of the head. As you exhale, we're going to start to bring that strap overhead. And then this is where you might start to feel, because we're going to go all the way to the back, that your arms need to widen to get back there, and that's okay. And take time, pause. Maybe this stretch here, your chest muscles feel particularly tight. You can pause in this. Move as slow as feels good to you. Draw that low belly in and up to protect the low back, because we don't want to arch too much in the low back. And then bringing that strap down, behind, and just take a moment once it gets back there. Maybe just soften. Big, deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And then we're going to go back. So again, you might want to come a little bit wider. I don't know why coming back always feels a little harder. And again, moving slowly, low belly draws in and up, protecting that low back gently. Maybe you notice the arms need to widen. And again, pausing anywhere that feels particularly good, or maybe it's just really tight. But feeling it, not rushing through this, moving nice and slow. And slowly, slowly coming forward, let the shoulder blades glide down your back. And once again, maybe just resting those hands on top of the knees, taking a moment, a little pause. Exhale it out. Coming back forward on your mat, maybe and tapping out the tops of the feet, giving them a little break. And fanning out the fingers, coming into downward facing dog. Press the mat away, bring those shoulders to a neutral position. Let your heels soften towards the mat. They do not need to touch. Next inhale, come up high onto the toes. Start to wave the spine to feel the tailbone tuck under. And find that length. Then lower those knees, keep the elbows in. Lower all the way down the length of the mat. Keep shoulder blades guiding down your back, elbows in. Press the toenails into the mat. Soften the low belly. Think of pubic bone to belly button. Inhale, gently raise up your torso. As you exhale, soften down, tuck the toes, and back to downward facing dog. Take a big deep inhale, cleansing exhale. On your next inhale, let that right leg float up. As you exhale, soften towards the mat, then bring that right knee towards chest. Place the right hand, foot behind the right hand. Slowly, slowly, take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Bring that left hand down the mat, then inhale, reach the right hand up. As you exhale, bring that right elbow towards the inside of that right knee. Maybe it kind of touches down towards your ankle. Maybe it's by your calf, maybe it's by your knee. That's okay, just a little softening here. Take an inhale, find that hand once again on either side. Softly lower the left knee down to the mat. Coming up if it feels good, or staying down, forearms onto the top of the thigh, nice slow lunge. Reaching up, shoulder blades gliding down your back. Find that softening in the low back, so think of pubic bone to belly button. As you exhale, bring your hands on either side, untuck that back toe, send it back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, let that left leg float up. As you exhale, soften towards the mat. Bring that left foot behind the left hand. Take a nice inhale to find some length. Exhale, release. On your next inhale, right hand stays down. Again, you can come to a block. That feels better to you. Inhale, twist, opening of that left hand. As you exhale, bring the left hand towards the inside of the thigh. Maybe try to lower. Maybe the elbow comes down to the ankle, calf. Maybe it's even just the knee that feels best to you today. Bring that hand towards the outside. Now lower the right knee. Take an inhale to lengthen in the spine. As you exhale, once again coming up, you can feel free to stay with those forearms on top of the thigh. Whatever makes you feel stable, find that. So soften into the low back, think pubic to belly button, shoulder blades glide down your spine. Exhale, either hand on either side. Send it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come up high on those toes, wave that spine forward. As you exhale, you can lower, elbows in. Press all 10 toenails down. Think your pubic bone to belly button. On your next inhale, little cobra. Exhale, tuck those toes, firm up your core, then press up and back, downward facing dog. Big deep inhale, cleansing, clearing exhale. Take a look forward, take a deep bend in those knees. And on your exhale, bring your feet directly underneath hips. Take a little moment here on your forward fold, deep bend in those knees, so low belly, bottom of the ribs is to the top of the thighs. Let your head and neck release. You could sway from side to side. And if you'd like, you can bring a block, placing it kind of directly underneath your face. Take both hands on the block, or fingertips can just be towards the mat. Take an inhale, find a little half lift. As you exhale, forward fold. On your next inhale, keep the right hand on the block, bend into the right knee, and inhale, open up that chest, reach the left arm up. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, find a half lift first. Exhale, forward fold. This time, left hand to the block, bend into the left knee. Inhale, reach the right arm, open up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll go one more each side. Find that half lift first, lengthening the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, keep that right hand down, twist, open up the chest. Maybe gaze goes towards the fingertips. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep that right arm open. Gaze can follow. Exhale, forward fold. Find another little half lift. Hands can come to shins if that feels good. Bring the weight back into the heels. Soften into the knees as you exhale, unhinge. Bring that torso all the way up. Reaching up, moving slow since this is our first upright position. Exhale, hands to heart. Feel your shoulder blades glide down your back. Feel your feet into earth. Kind of swaying from side to side. Bring those hands out. So out by your side, palms forward, chin lifts. So finding kind of that big, wide posture, and then maybe asking yourself, what if there was no ceiling? What if there was no cap you gave yourself? What if there were no boundaries? What if there were no enough that you didn't reach? What would you do? Who would you be? Feel that inhale expand. So as you breathe, breathe into your fingertips, breathe into your toes. Feel your head and neck lengthen upward. Feet rooted down. On your next exhale, deepen in those knees. Forward fold. Take an inhale, find this nice little half lift. As you exhale, plant your hands and your feet back to downward dog. Take a nice big inhale, cleansing, clearing exhale. Then as you're ready on your next inhale, let that right leg float up. As you exhale, soften towards the mat, elbows back, knees bent. Bring that right knee through. Place right foot behind right hand. Parallel that back foot. We're going to come to warrior three. So bend into the back knee. Use your core, that pelvic floor, to draw you all the way up to that strong warrior two. Sorry, I said three. I meant two. So fingertips reaching in opposite directions as if you could spread your mat away. Legs are really nice and strong here. As you're ready on your next inhale, bring the right forearm to the top of the thigh. Extend that left arm over. Legs are still nice and strong. Exhale, come back to warrior two. As you inhale, let that left hand float down, right hand reaches up. Reverse. As you exhale, we're going to bend into the left knee. So coming into Skandasana, you can always bring a block with you, placing it behind you. I'm just going to kind of hover here. I'm going to float, not coming all the way down. Send the sits bones back, heart forward, and feel that nice elongation. Whatever works for you, you can lower down to the top of that block if you'd like. Then we're going to pivot towards that left foot, coming towards the back of your mat. Inhale. Find some length in the spine. As you exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left. Forward fold. Take an inhale. Lengthen in the spine. As you exhale, bring weight back into your heels. We're going to come into chair. So sit it back. Use your core to draw all the way up. As you exhale, press everything you have into that right leg. Let the left leg float up, nice and gently. As you exhale, feel hinging forward, coming into warrior three or airplane. You can use that block. Bring it in front of you, shoulder blades glide down your back. Bring the weight back in the heel. Lift that hip bone up off of the thigh bone. As you exhale, bend into the right knee, slowly lower that left foot down. Bend into the back knee to use core to draw you all the way up into high crescent. As you exhale, so my back's going to be towards you just for a little bit. So open it up into goddess here. So toes in the same direction as your knees. I'm actually going to face you just so you can see. Toes same direction as your knees. Hands can come to heart center. As you inhale, open up like a big star. Reach your chin up. As you exhale, draw all of that, all the bigness, all that fullness back into your heart. Let your hips sink down, but they can go back a little. Use the torso to lift. Inhale, reach it up. Get as wide and as big. Let that breath expand. Let it bolt out of your fingers. Exhale, lower. One more of those. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Then pivot those left toes towards the front of your mat. Back foot parallel, coming into warrior two, left side. Lengthen out the arms. Big, deep inhale. As you exhale, we'll windmill towards the front of the mat. So left hand comes down. Send it back to downward dog. Your choice. You can take a chaturanga here. If that feels good, you can rest in child's pose. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Big, deep inhale. Cleansing, clearing, exhale. As you're ready, inhale, that left foot rises up. Exhale, soften to earth. Bring that left foot behind, left hand, pivot that right foot parallel to the mat. Bending into the knee to use your core, draw you all the way up to that strong warrior three. Gaze can go over left fingertips. As you inhale, left forearm comes down, reach the right arm over. Legs are really strong, pressing the mat in opposite directions. Coming back to warrior two. Reverse, let that left hand float up. Reaching back. As you exhale, pivoting that left foot forward, bend into the right knee, Skandasana. So keep that length in the spine. Only lower as feels good to you. Watching your knee, watching your low back. Whatever you're doing is enough. Then pivot towards that right foot, back of your mat. Inhale, find some length here in the spine. As you exhale, left foot meets the right, forward fold. Inhale to find some length here in the spine. As you exhale, bring the weight back in the heels, lower the seat, bring it in a chair. Exhale, press the mat away. That right knee lifts now. Nice and strong. Feel rooted and grounded, tall and strong. As you exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Coming to that warrior three. Lengthen here in the spine. Lift that hip bone up off the thigh bone. Weight back in the heels. As you exhale, slowly, slowly lower the right foot down. Bend into that back knee. Use your pelvic floor to draw you all the way up into high crescent. As you exhale, pivot towards the right. So the shoulder's going to go back into goddess. Hands to heart center. Send those hips back. Give them some space. Then use your torso to lift. Inhale, reach those arms up. Get as big and wide as you possibly can. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Expand. Lift your chin if it feels good. Exhale. One more of those. Inhale, like if you could expand all of who you are out, 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 and bring in more. Then pivot that right foot forward to the front of your mat. Left foot parallel. Reach those arms nice and strong. Warrior two. As you exhale, we'll windmill that right hand down. Left hand comes to meet. Your choice to chaturanga or not. Whatever feels good to you. Wherever you're at, we will all eventually meet in child's pose. So bring your knees wide, toes together, send your hips back. If it feels okay, you can reach the arms forward, you can reach them back. Take a big deep inhale, feel the low belly press against your thighs, feel your back body expand, and on your exhale, just let everything melt to the mat. Happy Brown said, you deserve to be the protagonist of your own wonderful, bizarre, terrifying little life. If you decide you are enough, you are enough. You do not need to wait for some external validation of your worth before you offer your kindest heart to yourself. Take a big, deep inhale. Another cleansing exhale. Open your jaw. As you're ready, bring that torso up. We're going to, once again, come to seated. So if you'd like to sit on the edge of a blanket, go ahead and do so. And having your strap handy. So first, extending the right leg down the length of your mat, flexing into your foot. Bringing the left heel towards that right hip. And then lowering the knee so they're stacked on top of each other. And this can be what feels perfect for you today. If you'd like, you can bring that right heel towards left hip. So coming into whichever cow face feels comfortable. And if you are like this and it feels not so great, feel free to bring a block, towel, placing it in between your thighs, especially if you're feeling a lot of tension in the hip crease or the outer hip. Bringing a strap, placing it into your right hand, bringing the right hand overhead, and then letting it so elbow stays pointed up, hand is towards the middle of the back, wrapping the left hand back behind, taking hold of the strap, and then maybe inching the hands towards each other. Take an inhale, sits bones root down, pelvic floor lifts. That inhale draws the crown of the head upward. As you exhale, let the shoulder blades soften. And this may be just exactly where you need to be, holding this stretch, opening the chest. If it feels good to you, you can start to lean the torso forward. just playing with maybe inching just closer together. Wherever we're at, see where there's some your shoulders, soften your eyes. So it's funny, we use this enoughness as if there was some sort of reward system that was in place. I think I was in labor with my first kid, and I really just wanted to do it all on my own, everything on my own, and no help with painkillers. And I was in labor forever, and I had a nurse, and she said, I don't have a gold star, I don't have a medal for you, I don't even have a cookie, but you have to get through this. I was kind of upset there were no cookies. As you exhale, release the strap, take a moment, whatever it is, maybe it's getting really spaghetti-like with the arms, to kind of soften into that, and then slowly unwind, draw that left knee into chest, give it a nice little squeeze. Maybe bringing soles of the feet to the mat, a little windshield wipering before we move to the other side. But for some reason, we kind of act like there, and sometimes there is. It's not to say that we haven't set goals and achievements, and but oftentimes we move throughout the world as if there is some reward system. A gold medal, a cookie is something. Okay, extend that left leg, flexing into that foot, bringing the right leg towards the left hip, then letting that knee kind of soften so the knees are stacked on top of each other. And again, this may be a perfect pose for today. You can keep that heel, left heel, going towards right hip, allowing both sits bones root down. Again, not jamming yourself into something that's really uncomfortable, or else there will be no flexibility improvement. There needs to be some sort of softness. So if you'd like to bring a block, a towel, find that happy place for your legs, then bringing the strap now, left hand. Reaching that left arm up, letting it drift down your back so that left elbow is towards the ceiling. Right hand comes from below, behind, and inch the fingertips towards each other. And you may notice one side has a little bit more, flexibility. You can reach them closer towards each other. Feel the sits bones root down. Take an inhale, grow long, and just holding this pose is a lot of effort. You could lean the chest forward if that feels good to you. But again, find that softening. There's really nothing to be earned. This joy and this peace is just our inheritance for being human, for living. And I think we like to complicate it unnecessarily. Shoulders soften down together. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. Slowly release. Whatever it is that feels good to you, to kind of get that sensation, that deep stretch out of your shoulders. Bring that right in the chest. Give a little squeeze, compression in the hip socket. Both feet towards the mat, a little windshield wipering side to side. And just for good measure, to keep going in the hips, let's get into cobblers pose. So again, if you'd like to sit up on top of that blanket, bringing soles of the feet together, drawing them rather close to your seat, and then letting these fall open. Again, it's always nice, especially if there's a lot of tension, to give that tension a bit of ease. So blocks, blankets, whatever feels good to you, to prop underneath, and just take a moment to feel gravity. Sometimes we want to kind of jam things down, move the chest forward, but often that gravity is a lot. It does a lot for us. Inhale, draw up from the pelvic floor, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, shoulder blades glide down your back, tops of shoulders soften. And then you can play here, letting that chest maybe drift forward. Maybe you'll notice some softening when you let that breath move through you. Just taking a little time. And sometimes I think we have timelines. That's our not enoughness. I didn't do this in time or that in time. But as we become a little bit more patient, we notice that maybe that time frame didn't matter. We still found our way. Maybe that thought of what the pose looked like, what your achievement this year, last year looked like, is different, but it's still enough. It's still beyond what you were doing before. Take one more breath. We're really getting to hips, so being kind to yourself, inner thighs. As you exhale, soften off of there. Bring the hands toward the outside of the knees and gently, gently, gently bring them up. And we're going to lay all the way down on our backs. Nice and slowly letting yourself land. Bring those knees with you for a moment, maybe some circling out of the knees just to massage the low back. Also kind of compress into the hips. We stretch and lift up a lot. Draw that right knee into chest, extend the left leg. Bring that right arm open out like a wing, and then gently draw the right knee to the left. Keep that right shoulder down towards the mat as much as possible, taking your gaze over the right fingertips. Big, full, expansive inhale, and as you exhale, allow your whole body to release some tension. Release your shoulder blades, your face, your throat. Slowly bring that knee back towards center, letting it kind of drift back out, and then just kind of a little back and forth, just to get a little compression, a little softening into the hip. So as if the knee, we're kind of drifting out and then coming back towards center, maybe a little past it, just to kind of stretch a little glute muscle action here. Sometimes that will try and engage, especially in goddess, and get really tight on piriformis, so this is just massaging it out. Then extend the right leg, draw the left knee into chest, give it a nice little squeeze. Extend the left arm out and bring that knee over towards the right, left shoulder towards the mat as much as you can. Gaze over the left fingertips. Expansive full breath. Let your waist and back get big and puffy, and as you exhale, notice where maybe you're hovering above your mat. Can you release? Can you let go of that tension? Gently come back. And once again, you're just going to use your hand to guide the knee to let it drift open and then back, maybe a little bit past center so you notice that lift. So it's massaging that upper glute as well as maybe a slight little stretch. Just telling piriformis we're done here. You can release, you can relax. And any last movements that you feel necessary in your body today, whatever that looks like, happy baby, dead bug. If you're doing cow pose, be really mindful of your cervical spine, keep some space in the throat area. And as soon as you got all of that out, bring those feet and let them fall open, length of the mat. Bring those palms up and away from your body. Draw your shoulder blades underneath your heart. Let the tops of your shoulders soften toward the mat. A couple more of that full body breath. So think of the breath moving beyond lungs, beyond torso, into the limbs, beyond skin. And exhale. Release your jaw, let out a sigh, a hum, a noise, a growl. And you are enough, just resting in the space for just a few moments. And as always, just staying in your resting pose as long as you can. Savasana is super important after all of the lengthening, stretching, after even conditioning and strengthening. You kind of moved fascial tissue, and allowing this rest lets it rearrange in this nice organized pattern. And so it's really important. And as you're ready, you can make some movements into your ankles, movements into your wrists, maybe even your fingers and your toes. And as you feel ready, you can inhale, reach the arms overhead, point your toes down the length of the mat. As you exhale, you can draw knees to chest or even just bring soles of the feet towards the mat. Maybe some windshield wipering or some rocking from side to side, or just moving the head from side to side. And when you feel ready, gently rolling over to one side and allowing yourself a moment just to pause there. Pause there and allow maybe a sense of gratitude for giving yourself space, attention. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly press yourself up to any easy seated position. You can sit on top of your towel or your blanket, even your block, and bringing some support underneath your thighs. Just take a moment to feel the sits bones into the ground, feel the crown of the head reaching upward. As you exhale, soften shoulders, soften shoulder blades. bringing your hands towards heart center, gently bowing your head to your heart. And the quote I leave you with today comes from Puja Rappel, who says, "You are enough exactly as you are, whether you believe it or not." And I appreciate you guys so much. I thank you for being here, and I hope that you realize your enoughness this week and tune into that, and maybe release some of those things that are telling you otherwise. So thank you guys. I appreciate you.